You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. We talk quite a bit about building the business you need. What does that business look like? And I'm a big believer that the business needs to be designed in a way that it delivers the life that you want. You do that by creating value for other people. But here's a real revolutionary concept for rebelpreneurs. How do you build a business so that you can sell it? How do you build, scale, and sell your business? And that is taking things to a completely new dimension. And so I'm really excited to have an expert, someone who does this on a regular basis, and she can show us what it means and maybe give you a vision for what your business can become if you're willing to take it to that level. I'm speaking today with Susie Carder. She is an international speaker, a best-selling author, and she's known as the Profit Coach, supporting clients to build multi-million-dollar enterprises. Her passion is taking customers from bootstrap to big time. I love that, bootstrap to big time. That is a real rebelpreneur concept. I love it. Susie Carder, welcome.
Ralph, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to pour into your audience. And I am the true rebelpreneur. So I'm perfect for your show because nobody's the boss of me. And I think that's why we become entrepreneurs, is because nobody's the boss of us.
That's exactly right. You can't tell me what to do. Nobody's the boss of me. I'm the boss of me. I think that is probably the number one psychological motivation behind every rebelpreneur, every solopreneur. I want to do things my way. And so it's really interesting when we take that approach to business and to life and really creating value that's going to go beyond expectations. How do we do that? How do we build a business that is not just going to support us? I mean, you can get support from a lot of places, but really create something, an empire, create value, transform the lives of everyone that you come into contact with. You're doing this on a really big basis, in a really big way, building multi-million-dollar enterprises. The first thing I want to know, Susie, is how did you get started doing this, and how did you become known as the Profit Coach?
I love it. Well, I started out as a technician. So my first vocation is I was a hairdresser. And I was a single mom raising two little girls and had to figure out, how do I support myself and how do I support these kids, right? So I built I did $250,000 a year working 3 days a week as a technician. And most technicians at that time were making $30,000 a year. And I really wanted to give back to my industry and show people what they had to do to make money. And we went on to open one of the top salons and spas in the country. We're the top 1% in the nation, top 10% in the world. And my niche was salons and spas. And then I started teaching at a Millionaire Summit because I was learning how to raise money. I was building another enterprise and wanted to use other people's money versus my money. And in that conference, I realized that they weren't teaching people to run a business. They were teaching them how to raise money, but people didn't know how to run the business. And I said, we really need to teach people how to systematize their business so that they own a business and not a big fat job. And they said, great, I think you should teach that. I'm like, I don't know anything about these people's business. I just know my industry. And they're like, no, you teach it. So I started teaching it was a millionaire's workshop and just teaching the foundation of business systems and how to put systems in place and how to build your business so that you could sell your business. And then regular entrepreneurs would say, Susie, will you coach me? I'm like, no, I don't know anything about graphic design. No, I don't know anything about an auto mechanic store. No, I don't know anything about landscape design. No, I don't know anything about. And finally, I'm just like, these people just keep asking me. So I'm just going to double my fee and they will go away. That was my strategy, Ralph. As sad as that sounds. And so the reality was I doubled my fee and they didn't go away. They just kept coming. And then I got into working with entrepreneurs, and every business is business. Really, the vocation that you do, the technical side that you do is a piece of it. And it's important to know that. But when you understand the strategy of business, then there's a whole new freedom. The Small Business Administration did a study and they said that 30% of new businesses fail in the first 2 years and that 50% fail in the first 5 years and then 66% fail after 10 years. That's just unacceptable. And I believe, Ralph, it's just lack of strategy, lack of planning, right? We're technicians going into business, like I said, nobody's the boss of me. And the reality is, if you're going to be an owner in a business, you've got to run the business like a business and not just be the best technician in town.
Yeah.
So my whole passion and purpose is let me help you.
I love that. I love that whole philosophy. I love the approach. I'm always talking about Michael Gerber, and he's known for several things, but one quote that I always bring up from Michael Gerber is that most people who go into business are not entrepreneurs. They are technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure.
Yes, he was one of my first mentors.
Yeah.
And so I built my whole salon and spa around creating systems and then ended up selling that business for millions, right? So I've built 2 $10 million companies following that structure of going, build it as if you're not going to be there every single day, which then gives me freedom, which then gives me a life, which then gives me revenue, which then gives me possibility to create the next thing. Because as entrepreneurs, Ralph, we are just creators.
That's right.
We're making machines, right?
That's right. I mean, we don't want to build a golden prison for ourselves by becoming the most overworked, underpaid employee, and sometimes the only employee of our business. That's not what it means to build the business you need so that you can live the life that you want. You're working with people who get that, and they're ready to take their life and their business to the next level. Tell us more about who you work with. Who's a good client for you and for your coaching, especially since you doubled your fees and you've probably raised them since then.
We have raised them since then. So my ideal client is a client that, first of all, it's mindset, right? You're done trying to do it alone. You're done being what I call, Ralph, the lonelypreneur. You do it all, be it all by myself, and woe's me, right? They're a person that's a leader, a person that's ready to take their business to the next level. You're doing $250,000 to $10 million. I know that's a big span, but that's where my clients fall into. And they're just ready. They're ready to go, how do I have new lenses to see my business differently? They're ready to get out from being the technician, truly own a business versus a big fat job. And they're open to coaching. They're open to doing the work. They're hustlers, so they're about getting it done. And they're passionate about what they do. They're heart-centered in their business. So it truly is about the client first and serving the client. And obviously, we all want to make money at that. So when I come from a servant heart, I believe that the universal law and the law of reciprocity takes care of me as I take care of myself. Although we do have to have financial strategy around our pricing, we do have to have a system around that, but to come from a service mentality. Men, I will work hard for you. I come in and be your virtual COO with you, alongside you, because I don't want people dependent on me. I want to teach you the skill sets, take this complicated thing called financial planning, simplify it so that you use the numbers in your business every single day to propel your business.
I love that. And I get the feeling that you are kind of like a drill sergeant. And I mean that in a positive way, that you come in and just whip these lonelypreneurs into shape. It's like, drop down and give me 20. or give me 30, or give me whatever. What are the numbers like? And instead of just doing everything by the seat of your pants and just by your gut feelings and moaning and groaning about things, show me the numbers. What are we going to do? What's it going to take? I think that would be so valuable to so many business owners who are just flying by the seat of their pants. They don't know their numbers from one day to the next. They haven't systematized their business. So you go in and you work with them. And I love how you don't do it for them. That would quickly be overwhelming, I would think, to try to go in. You've got all this resistance. Instead, you're working together and co-partnering and co-laboring together with that business owner to help them build a business to sell. So, with all the people that you work with, and I really love that you work with so many different industries. It's not like you're an expert in just one area. You're an expert in the business strategy and taking that business to where it needs to be. And what you find as a strategist is the same thing that I find as a strategist. And people who aren't strategists don't get this. They think that what you do doesn't apply to me because I'm different. My business is different. My customers are different. My industry is different. And what strategists figure out is, no, it's not that different. There's some universal principles and strategies that work because people are basically the same, right? We've all got different little quirks, but human nature and what you need to do to get from where you are to where you want to be is actually pretty simple. And so we can customize these strategies to fit the individual needs. But I think that's probably the biggest thing that holds people back is they think somehow they're special and what you say and what you do and your approach isn't going to work for them because they're such a special case. How do you respond to that?
That's so true. I love that you know me so well, Ralph, and you know our clients, right? So the reality is, I do have clients that say that, how many of these types of businesses, have you worked with? And I'm really transparent. It all works down to a formula. So let's look, and I'll do a couple simple exercises with people. I have something called the cash calculator that just shows them how much money they want to make in each revenue stream that they have, how many qualified clients they need to be in front of. Because I think as entrepreneurs, and especially with social media, you see this being a marketing expert, people are just like, I'm going to get fans. Well, fans aren't customers, and fans aren't, and they're not qualified leads.
Your fans do not pay the bills. They do not put money in the bank.
They do not. But if I can get the qualified customer, meaning the people that have the resources to invest in your product or service, then now we can start talking. So I like to work with clients and just look at the formula in their business, the formula inside of what vocation that they're in. We can always learn. You're the expert in your vocation. I'm the expert in the strategy. That's it. Right. And I bring other business partners in. I'm not the marketing expert, right? I'm the strategic expert. And then we're going to go look for someone that's doing, like yourself for the marketing, someone that's going to manage their social media. Like really look at who's the team we need to put in place to have accelerated growth. I don't know about you, Ralph, but I don't want slow growth. I want accelerated growth. And then I want the strategy of how do I manage that as I'm growing so we don't explode or implode inside of your business.
Yeah. And that's a real challenge. And, some people think, well, if I had a business that's doing 10 million or 5 million a year, I wouldn't have all of these problems. But really what happens is those problems become magnified, don't they?
Well, a $5 million business is completely different than a $10 million business, right? And a $1 million business is completely different than a $3 million business. And people keep doing business as usual. We have to reinvent it every level we go to go, what's the business now, right? Because there's different challenges. There's different people challenges. Now we have culture challenges that you have to manage. You're not just selling your widgets and gadgets. Right. So I want to look at and have people realize like every level we go to, you're going to have to invest in someone that's been there before. You're going to have to find either different mentors or go to different classes to go, how do I reinvent who I am at this stage of the business? Right. I think what I love about teaching and working with my clients is I'm not afraid to tell the truth. I think every time I've learned something in my business, it's because of a failure. If I got sued by employees, I'm like, oh, okay, I need to document things more, right? We raised money and really following the SEC rules and finding out what that all entails and the impeccability that you have to have and taking a company public. And so just looking at every level of your business is a different business. So it keeps it fresh. It keeps it exciting. You get to keep reinventing it, but you've got to have the strategy to reinvent. You've got to have that process of, here's how I'm going to go to the next level. And here's the team that will take me to the next level. I think as entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to keep team members too long and you've outgrown them, right? The team that got you here is not going to get the team that's going to get you there unless they're in accelerated growth, unless they have coaches and mentors, unless they're studying. I don't know about you, but I'm always reading, 2 to 3 business books at a time, going to different seminars, learning at what's new, because my business is growing at an accelerated rate. Right. So I have to be my best customer for my customer to see.
I love what you said about the business can't grow and evolve unless the owner is growing and evolving. And then you said unless the team is growing and evolving. And if there's a breakdown in someone's willingness to learn, to grow, to learn from their mistakes, to get better, to improve. If there's a breakdown either on the owner side or in the team side, it's going to hinder the ability of that business to go to the next level. So really, what you're saying is that the performance of the business reflects the willingness of the owner and the employees and the team members and the partners and everyone involved in that enterprise. It reflects their willingness to be flexible and to grow and adapt and change, or it reflects their unwillingness to do that.
Right. You look at the old saying your parents would say, the fish stinks from the head down. It's like you want to look at what you stand for, look at what you're committed to, look at your culture, look at your team. Right. So my dad used to always tell me, show me who your friends are, I'll show you who you are. Right. So it's really about going, what's the kind of culture I want to create? And is the team representing that culture? I think as entrepreneurs, we start getting intimidated by the team and then the team just runs itself. And you always have that one bad apple, right, that we're afraid to let go of, we're afraid to do anything about, that they're undermining the whole foundation of your business. I've seen it business after business after business, and we've got a clean house. Your culture is the foundation of the financial success of your business. Will customers keep coming back, right? Based on what you're doing consciously and unconsciously. In an unconscious environment, that's just scary. And that's a setup for a fail.
In the beginning of our conversation, you gave us some pretty frightening statistics about the odds of a business surviving and even being able to keep its doors open, much less building, scaling, and selling itself after a period of time. What is the biggest problem you see with the business owners that you're working with? Is if you could narrow it down to one big thing, is there a big thing?
There is a big thing, Ralph, and I know you see it. Is we're building our business on a hope and a prayer, right? We're just it's going to all work out. No, it's not going to all work out. We have to have a plan. And there's 2 kinds of plan. There's a working business plan, and then there's a fundraising plan. So if I'm going to raise money for my business, that plan is going to be slightly different than if I'm doing a working business plan. And so I create my business plan with my client, and then every year we're updating that business plan. Your values, your mission, your vision, all those things will stay the same. Your ideal client will stay the same. But what strategy, based on the environment of business, is going to change? How are we going to market now? Like if you think about 10, 15 years ago, we weren't using social media as a primary marketing source.
That's right.
Now, if you're not using social media as a primary marketing source, you're not in business, right? And that's all about customer care and getting your name out there, because we're all looking at, what are people doing? What are businesses doing? So they're winging it in business. You can't wing it in business. Now, I've seen a lot of clients that come to me and they're at $1 million and they did the winging method, right? And so we almost have to dismantle to rebuild it up, to go, okay, let's go. What do we want to create in this business? What's our revenue stream? How many revenue streams are we going to have? Sometimes clients are just so excited, and we're creators as entrepreneurs. We have too many revenue streams, so nobody's focused on everything. And so you're doing poorly in all these divisions, right? Whether it's selling books or selling, landscape design, whatever it is that you're selling, to go, oh, let's focus. Let's get really deep and wide in one revenue stream and then go to another revenue stream and then another revenue stream versus trying to do everything for everybody. It gets, we get caught up in the sparkle squirrel.
Well, you call it revenue stream. A lot of the clients that I work with, it's the same thing, but they refer to it as projects. So they'll create a new program, or they'll create a new course, or they get an idea that they're going to create a new Facebook group or whatever. Yes. And so they're creating, and the idea is multiple streams of revenue. The challenge is, as you said, they either don't have enough focus to complete one revenue stream before they move on to the next, or they have so many revenue streams going on that they're only an inch deep. It's just a trickle. I've got multiple revenue streams and it's all just trickling in just a little bit. And that's a drain on the energy as well. How do we go beyond that? And is there a process that you can share with us about, let's say, a business plan? What would be the elements of a basic business plan that we need to start paying attention to?
Well, I've used two different softwares, right? So most of my clients get really intimidated by the word business plan, and they just avoid it. But if you're using a software, there's two. There's one called the Business Power Tools, and then the other one is called Live Plan, Live Plan. And it walks you through it, asks you a bunch of questions, Ralph. It says, what's your vision? And then it gives you an example of what a vision is. What's your mission? What's your values, right? What's your core statement? What kind of products and services do you want to sell? Who's your ideal client? What's that client avatar? And it walks you through just a series of questions. And by the time you're done with a series of questions, you push print and you have a rough business plan. Now, I say rough business plan because you're just doing the initial dumping. And then that allows you to see like, wow, most of us have a really good idea inside our head. I have to get it out of your head, Ralph, get it onto paper so that we don't get distracted by the sparkle. Your team doesn't get distracted by the sparkle, because there's always, as an entrepreneur, there's always opportunities that come to me. I have to discern which ones are most profitable, which ones are the highest income producing activity that we can take on right now. Like, it's having some discernment versus doing everything. So I want to give people freedom to go, if you follow a software, then you're creating something that will live on inside of your business. Now, I use the Business Power Tools for one of my clients, and we raised $2.5 million. I'm not a professional business plan writer, but I got it all out of her head. We laid it out. We put it into place, right? And that business plan enabled us to raise $2.5 million and take the company public. So it's a powerful, powerful tool just to get what's inside your head, all that creativity, put it in a structure so that you can see you have more than just an idea. Then we look at, well, what's the first product that's going to be the highest income producing activity? The mistake I see entrepreneurs make is they start with a low-hanging fruit. I'm going to sell something for $99. Well, you got to sell a lot of $99 things to pay your house payment, right? If you look at just your house payment, are you going to be able to sell $300, $400 a month to pay your house payment? And the answer 9 times out of 10 is no. So it's strategically looking at what's the first thing we should focus on so that we can make the kind of money to pay our initial overhead, our salary. When I look at those numbers from the SBA, the scary part that it doesn't mention when you dig in deeper, 80% of those people aren't even taking a paycheck of what it would be worth if they did the same job. The average entrepreneur makes anywhere between $29,000 and $59,000. Ralph, we can go get jobs for more than that,
and have none of the headache of trying to do everything by yourself.
It's bananas. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's just like, it's wrong in so many levels. But I think it's because they don't even know that they don't even know that they don't know, right? They've just been doing it, or they risked, or they've invested a lot of money, and now they're kind of stuck. And our pride gets in the way, and we're afraid to raise our hand and say, Ralph, can you help me? Can you help me do my marketing? Can you help me, Susie, with my finances? Can you help me? When you look at it, it takes a strong leader to raise their hand and say, I need help. It doesn't mean you don't know. It doesn't mean you're not smart enough. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. I believe I'm a very smart businesswoman. When I find somebody else that knows 10 times more than I do in that area, pay them and to have them support me in creating that magic. Wow. Wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely agree. And that's the sort of thing that I've been kind of telling people for years is, on the one hand, there's no shortcut to success. But on the other hand, if you're looking for a shortcut, one suggestion is find someone who's already done it and get them to be your mentor, get them to be your coach, get them to lead you, point you in the right direction at least, and kind of show you where the pitfalls are. If there is such a thing as a shortcut to success, I think that's it. And it's getting experts who know how to do the things that you're still trying to figure out. And I love what you said about leadership, that a true leader is not someone who's afraid to ask for directions, but he's doing or she's doing whatever she needs to do to bring in whoever has the expertise, the knowledge to get them where they need to be. And that's the sort of mindset that we have to grow and evolve, get over our ego, get over this lonelypreneur mindset and mentality, and really build a business that's going to change lives so that we can scale it and then we can sell it for 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 times annual earnings.
Right. The scary thing when clients come to me and they want to sell their business, they've not set it up to sell. Right. And they're like, well, they want $1 million for their business, but there's no profit in the business. They've not paid themselves in 5 years. So there's really nothing to sell. Like it's all boils down to the formula. And I know that when I work with a client, I can shave 10 years off their learning curve. I know when clients work with you, you can shave multiple years off their learning curve. That's a great investment. Right. Benjamin Franklin said, take the coins from your purse, invest them in your mind, and your mind will fill your purse overflowing. So I know it's always scary. You're like, I have no money, but I have to spend money. Well, there's good money to spend. The shoes that you bought last week, I'm going to say that wasn't the good money to spend. But investing in programs and, mentors and coaches, that's good money. When they hold you accountable, you're right. I am like a little drill sergeant. You can hear it. Because I know it. Just do what I say. Just do this, and you'll get the return.
I love that. Well, you have some exciting things going on. Next year, you have a book coming out. You have just signed a deal with Simon & Schuster. And tell us a little bit about your book that's coming out.
I'm so excited. This is book number 10, Ralph.
Wow.
And they've all been the entrepreneur journey. This book is for entrepreneurs, and it's called Bootstrap to Big Time: Living the Entrepreneur Dream, Building a Business from 10,000 to 10 million. And my journey was I bootstrapped my businesses. I didn't have a big daddy. I didn't have someone handing out cash. Right? I built it on credit cards. I built it on my retirement account. I leveraged my homes, to build a sustainable business and then be able to sell it for millions. And that's the entrepreneur dream, is to build a business so that you can sell it. Build a business so the business provides you a lifestyle that a job cannot. That's our whole purpose of owning a business. So I lay out the strategy of in 10 steps, here's what you do. So that person that maybe can't afford to work with me one-on-one, I can handhold them through the process through the book. So our launch date is we're looking at next May. I'm so excited and found the right partner with Simon & Schuster to do that. And very excited for that to come out. And, it's it's like birthing a baby.
Yeah. Well, and it's neat to see them grow up and to begin to accomplish great things on their own. They are like little children once you write them down and send them out into the world, and then you see what kind of an impact they make. So congratulations. That is really excellent. If our listeners want to get in touch with you and find out more about your products, your services, your books, that you have available, and how to build a business to sell, what's the best way to reach out to you?
The best way is to go to my website. My philosophy, Ralph, is wealth is your birthright. And this is for all of us, not for some of us. And so you can go on there. I have a ton of free stuff that you can play around with. I have a business assessment. I love assessments because they have me analyze my business and where I'm at. So go in, take the assessment. I've got some free videos that you can start to feel like, am I the right person for you? Is this the right conversation for you? How can we take your business to the next level? Because my goal is that we build businesses to provide us a lifestyle that we couldn't do with a job, and that we create generational wealth for ourselves and for our families and have a life that's unrecognizable.
I love that. And a life that's unrecognizable. What a great vision you have put for us and for our listeners, Susie. The website, and we'll have that on our website as well. The link is susiecarder.com, and it's CARDER, susiecarder.com. We'll put that up so that people can follow up and find out more about all that you have to offer. This has really been a mind-blowing and eye-opening conversation with you, Susie. You've shared so much wisdom. Any final thoughts that you'd like to leave us with?
I do. Joan Baez said, action is the antidote for despair. So wherever you are in your business, if you're stuck, if you want to go to the next level, you just need to be in action. And not just action, I say radical action. Like, do something uncomfortable every day to grow your business. Get out of complacency. Risk equals reward. I want you to hold fear in one hand, courage in the other, and just jump. Every time I've done that, Ralph, my business, my life has been unrecognizable. So we want to support you, myself, and Ralph inside this journey called entrepreneurship. So we're not lonelypreneurs, and that we can truly be the rebelpreneurs that we were put on this earth to be, and create some wave and create some noise. Thank you for having me, Ralph.
Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Susie Carder is an international speaker and best-selling author. She's known as the Profit Coach. She supports clients to help them build multimillion-dollar enterprises. She is the author of the book Bootstrap to Big Time, published by Simon & Schuster, coming out next year. You can find out more at susiecarder.com. Susie, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you. Thanks so much for being on Rebelpreneur Radio today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for all you do for us. We appreciate you so much.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.